Hey everybody, it's Susan again with another video for you. I hope everybody's having a good day today. Back in the summer, I developed some teaching with tech resources that I shared with some of the districts that requested them, and I particularly focused on learning in a virtual environment, kind of a blend, learning in person, learning at home, and anything in between or related to that. And so I shared some tools with some of you as we went through that. I'm not sure if everyone got access to those or if everyone has seen those. So I wanted to do a little refresher and share just a portion of this slideshow with you and then give you access to some of my templates that you might want to use. We're all in different places and we're all doing different things, so it's really hard to be focused on what your individual needs are. So I'm just going to give an overview, and if you have any more questions or you need additional support in a more specific way, just reach out to me and I will get back with you on how I can help you with this. This is all very basic and very simple, but I think when we want to keep things simple, that's what we need to do. So please bear with me on this. If any of this helps you, please use it. I'm going to share the entire slideshow with you, and then you can go to the links and get those as you need them. So I apologize for skipping through the slides, but I know you don't want to hear me talk about every one of these. You want to get to the good stuff. So let me go through and find the things that I think would be most helpful to you right now that you can use. I do want to stop at this one though. I want you to see that there's a whole lot about remote learning, blended learning, virtual learning. All of those terms kind of are alike, but there's a whole lot out there if you want to go and read about it. I know you probably don't because you're experiencing it. But I want you just to be aware that everybody that knows anything about this realizes that there are limitations beyond your control and that you shouldn't be expected to do everything exactly the same as you've done it traditionally, because it just doesn't work that way. You need to give yourself room to do things differently, and let the creative side of you come out and try and do things a little bit differently that meet the needs of your students where they are. You're the expert in your class. You know your content, you know your students, you know your classroom, you know the way things need to be. And so realize those limitations and go with it. When you think about your normal face-to-face instruction for a particular lesson, I would suggest that you don't try to make it exactly like it used to be, but find a way that you can do it virtually or remotely, but then also meets kind of the same goals that you had for that lesson, particularly if it's a really important lesson that you really want to make sure students understand because you know it's so important for them. So don't feel like you have to do everything the way it always was. Consider giving students more flexibility and let them work at their own pace. They might be more willing to work if they have a choice. And I'm going to talk a lot about that here in just a minute. But anyway, that's what the experts are saying for all of that, for whatever that's worth to you. Let's see. Let me find here. I want to stop on this one. This gives you some links to some instructional video resources. I know some of you have already used videos a lot and you're really good at it. You're better at it than I am, actually. But I just wanted to make you aware that these are here, that you can get a how-to document right here. It shows you how to use Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, Loom. All of those are free, have free versions. I also give you a Google Classroom detail, step-by-step detail. There's one for beginners and one for experienced users. So if that's something that you need, use that. This last thing down here too is a template that I created that I want to share with you. It's a weekly agenda template. And when we're talking about making things simple and keeping things efficient, this is really a good way to do it because it lets students know everything they need to know in one place. They don't have to search their email, classroom, all these other different places. They can just go to this one document because you're putting everything on it. Let me open it and show it to you so you can see what it looks like. And of course I made it personalized because that's what you need to do with it. You need to make it work for you. But it's just a Google slideshow that has all of my classroom stuff in it, everything that students would need to know. On this second slide, I've given them a to-do list for the week of November, whatever, and I've given them a list of materials that they're going to need as they do the activities that I'm giving them this week. Oops. wrong button. And then right here on this one, I've just shown them my office, and I might put the times that I'm available for them to call or email me, and then also the reminders and things that they need to remember about what they need to turn in and what they need to do for the class. Also on this slide right here, this is where I have linked each day's activities that I want them to complete for the week of November, whatever 2nd or whatever the week is. And so what I did is I linked to this Monday, I linked the slide that goes with Monday. So if I click it and click that, it takes me down here to Monday's slide. Notice I've got a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday slide. And what you do, you just put what you want them to do that day. You give them the instructions, you link the materials to them so that they have easy access to them. And then if the next day they get up on Tuesday and they want to see what Tuesday holds for your class, they click on Tuesday and they can go to Tuesdays and see what you want them to do for Tuesday. You can also put a resource page on here with your syllabus and your rules and any school information, maybe calendars, things that you want them to have access all the time to. It's just another way to share it with them. You can also make a lab slide where you put your virtual lab materials or your instructions there. And you can also make a Google Meet slide where you can put your link there so that they can get access to it. It's just another way to do it all in one place so that students can have some consistency in how they get the information. So if you're interested in using a template like that, feel free to take that and use it and make it your own. If you're concerned about how others are seeing the way you're structuring your class, some people suggest that you make a remote learning plan, and here's a sample right here so that you can defend the things that you're doing, the ways that you're teaching, and then just communicate that to parents or to administrators so that they have confidence that you're doing what you need to be doing. All of these right here, I'm not going to go through them. These are just some good Google Classroom help sources, and then some Microsoft sources for those of you that are doing Microsoft stuff. Just some links to some really good videos. Also, I would encourage you to do class meetings and use Google Meet, use Zoom for lots of different reasons, for just to check up on your students, to give them instructions of how to do things, to explain new content, and to answer their questions. And you can use Meet, Zoom, any of those type of platforms to do that. And then if, of course, your videos about that you want to share with them that they can watch later, those would be really more content related videos, but you can use them for whatever purpose you have. Also, you can do digital meetings with individual students just to support them if they're struggling, especially, or if they have questions. They might be more willing to ask questions if it's just you and them. It's a good way to maintain those personal interactions. So don't forget to use that as an option. Here's what I want to focus on, this choice board template. There's a lot of choice board templates out there. This link right here will take you to some that are pretty good. There's a lot of variety in them, but they're also very complicated, a lot of them. So if you're new to it, it might be easier to use just a very simple choice board at first, and then once you get good at it, then you can find some more complex ones. Choice boards allow you to be flexible with what you assign students. They encourage engagement for students because they do have a choice in what they do. You can diversify the tasks and make some tasks harder and some tasks easier. You can make some tasks about one topic and other tasks about another topic. It's completely up to you in terms of how you structure it. But why they're called choice boards is because students have choice in what they do. The one I want to show you here is this one down here, this simple choice board that I created. And I'm making it available to you if you want to take it and adapt it for you. I'm going to move myself over here again. This first slide just has the board on it. It looks kind of like a tic-tac-toe board, and you can use it that way if you want, or you can just assign different tasks. And then I'll always put an instructions page telling them exactly how to use the board, what I expect them to complete on it. And then this slide right here is just for the teacher, just some little tips to make your choice board a little bit more effective. You can eliminate some of the mistakes that I've made with them before. And then the rest of your slides are just your tasks that you want them to do or want them to choose from to do. And then you might add an assessment task if you want to. That's totally up to you. But what I've done here is I have titled it Choice Board. You can change that however you want to. You can make it for the week of Choice Board, or you can make it about a topic, all about animals or whatever topic it is, or you can make it around a performance expectation, a standard. It's totally up to you how you make it. But what you do is you link, just like you do, just like I did with the weekly agenda. You link your task to the slide. So if I click here on task 1, this is going to take me down to task 1, and it tells student, you write in here what you want students to do. You give them their instructions so they know. And then if they choose to do task 6, they can click there, and that will take them down to task 6. So you see, it's just a place where everything is found in one document. Students know where to go. They can complete what you ask them to complete, and it's easy for them to understand. Again, you can ask them to do all the tasks if that's what you want them to do, but really the purpose of the choice board is to give them choice in what they do. So once they've read and looked at all 9 tasks, then they can pick which 3 or 4 that you want them to do. And you can require them to do it like tic-tac-toe. They have to do a column, or they have to do a row, or they have to do a diagonal. When you do that, then you can put the harder tasks in one place and the easier tasks in another place to make sure they get some variety. So it's just up to you how you want to put it together. But that's the choice board template that I wanted to share with you. Maybe that will help somebody. And again, why choice boards? Because you can attach them to your learning management system, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, whatever. You assign it on one day, you give them a deadline for when you want them to complete it, and it's up to them to get it done on their own time. You don't have to go in and explain it every time. You don't have to, unless you just want to. You don't have to go in every day and make an assignment. You've made it once. You're giving them the time to get it done. Now, I would certainly make myself available during that time if they have questions, and then remind them about when the deadline is, but give them that choice so that they can make some decisions and have some ownership in the work that they're doing. Now, you might be thinking, that's a lot of stuff to grade in one day. If I make all of my students turn in 3 assignments all at once, that's a lot, and it certainly is. But you might consider offering some incentives to get them to turn them in early. Some of them will do that because they want to get that incentive. Or you might just choose to grade one of their assignments each week. Choose the one you think looks the best and grade that one. It's totally up to you how you use the choice boards. The next thing I want to show you are HyperDocs. They're very similar to the choice board and to the weekly agenda, but it's just like a to-do list. You just create a document and make it as simple or as complex as you want, explaining to students what you expect them to do that week or that 2 weeks or however long you want your document to last. These are really good for distance learning because, again, students can work at their own pace. They don't have to meet with you at a certain time. You can integrate as many websites as you want. You can use technology assignments, or you can give them assignments that are not technology related. And by the way, you can do that with the choice board too. You can give them a task that has nothing to do with the computer. If it's something they can do at home, something they can do with their textbook or whatever, you can put whatever kind of task you want on those. Same thing for here. You can follow whatever kind of map you want to follow. You can do a Monday through Friday lesson plan, or you can do a thematic lesson plan, however you want to do it. It's totally up to you. Here are some templates that are related to HyperDocs. Here's some that are docs. Here's some that are slides. Here's one that I made that's very, very simple. Feel free to edit it and use it as you want. I'm going to just show you what it looks like. So I'm going to move myself over here again. I just made it very simple. I put a few little graphics at the top, this week in science, and then you put the week, and then you maybe list some announcements, some reminders, and then you get into the assignments. Monday, here's your list. Tuesday, here's your list. Wednesday, here's your list, on and on and on. And at the end, you might give them some reminders about what's coming up next week. Students can go to this just like they did the choice board, or the weekly agenda and see what it is in your class they need to get done that day. And you can easily attach this to your learning management program or send it in an email, but that's an easier way for you to get it to them. What you can also do is you can print this. This is pretty easy to print for those students that have technology access issues, and then you can give them the assignments they can do without computer, and then maybe supplement a little bit with some paper and pencil type activities. But it is definitely something that you can use with multiple teaching modalities. Here are just a couple more templates. I'm not going to go through any of these. If you're interested in another planner or a calendar or another choice board, there it is. You can have that. Also, if you don't have a Bitmoji, but you're interested in getting one, this is a tutorial. I'm not going to go through that, but if you're interested in that, go check out that tutorial. Just kind of personalizes your slides and things a little bit more. And I just want to say one more thing about assessment, because I'm going to share some assessment things with you. Don't be afraid to do something different. You know, a test or a quiz might not be the best option all the time, especially in a virtual environment. Be selective, don't grade everything, but make what you grade count, make it important enough to that the grade means something, and figure out what it is you want to know. What do you want them to tell you back from the experiences you gave them in learning? What do you want them to tell you that they've learned? And then figure out the best way to find that out. And then I'm just going to share with you some of the things that we have that I put together. This link right here, I'm not going to open it, but it's a link that has a list of all kinds of formative assessments on the computer, but that you could easily adapt to paper and pencil if you needed to, and also some ideas for summative assessment. I will share that I have some quizzes collections that are high school focused on the NGSS DCI topics. So if you're interested in adding my collections to yours, if quizzes is something you've used a lot for pre-assessment or quick checks or whatever, reach out to me and I will be glad to share those collections with you, because you know you might find a use for those for the different topics that you're covering. I will say that formative assessment is probably going to be easier. It usually always is. Summative assessment is difficult in a remote environment, so I would suggest using it sparingly. If you just have to use summative assessment, though, the best options may be a form, and there's some forms help right here if you're not really strong on using forms yet. You can also do a meet and ask them to do the quiz or the test right there on their camera in front of you. There's no guarantees that they're not getting help, but that's just one option. Another option would be an oral assessment. You know, schedule a meeting, especially for those that might test better that way. They can actually tell you what they've learned, and then you can assess them that way. And then there's always alternative assessments. You can give them a project. You can assign them a presentation. You know, doing a slideshow presentation remotely is pretty easy. And they can share with you on there the things that they've learned. You know, asking them to create some kind of a product that came from their mind is a good way to assess how they're thinking, and give you the opportunity to fill in some gaps if there's anything missing. So I just wanted to share these with you to help keep you sane and give you some ways to overcome some of the obstacles that you might be facing during a remote learning time. So hopefully these will help you. So use them as needed. Here are just some other useful websites that I found that might be helpful in a virtual environment. Some of them offer you opportunities to give some audio feedback. CK12 is a really good fallback if you're just struggling for content. You need something to give them. There's a lot of good articles and videos that you can share very easily. So check those out if you're interested in any of those. And just be aware that some students are not going to have really good technology access. Things happen, we know that. So I would suggest anything that you create, any template you use, any choice board or any agenda or to-do list, that you do have a paper copy available, so that if you do have a student that says, I can't get on the computer, how can I get my work? All you need to do is copy what you got, and then you can give them those to do at home. You might even consider giving them a textbook and giving them some alternate assignments if it comes to that, because you don't want them to miss out on some things that are really important for your class. And only you know what that is. So we have to trust that you're going to do that, and that you're going to know how to manage that with those limitations. So again, I thank you for listening to this. I didn't want it to be long, but again, remember what do you teach during a virtual environment? That's very important. You've already been in school for a little while, so you've already taught some things. Think about what would be the easiest thing to teach during virtual learning if it's for a few weeks or longer, whatever it is. What are the easiest things? What have I already taught that I could review, that I could slip in some review in that virtual time just so that I can do a check and see what they've learned? You don't always have to use technology. Keep that in mind. Technology is a good way to communicate and a good way to deliver information, but it's not always the best way to learn the information or give feedback about the information. So I'll go back to what I said before. What is it that you want them to tell you? And that will help you make decisions on the kinds of activities you want them to do and the ways you want to assess them on that. You've got this. I trust that you've got it. I miss being in your rooms. I miss being able to come and see you. I will come and see you if you want me to, but I'm going to stay out of your way until all of this mess gets over. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to remember what's really important. I've covered up my words there. Let me move myself over. Remember what's really important. Keep things simple for yourself, for your own peace of mind. Talk to somebody that understands where you've been. Don't isolate yourself. Keep yourself on a routine. Take care of you so that you can take care of other people. That's what we've got to remember. So, thank you again for watching my video. I really hope you have success with this virtual stuff, that you can learn a few things to integrate into your class and overcome the challenges that you face. Really appreciate it. Contact me if you need anything. I'm available, email, phone, visit, whatever I can do to help. Thank you so much for watching this to the end. Thanks.